Greetings, citizens of the world. We are anonymous. It is our pleasure to inform you that Sweden's Director of Public Prosecutions has decided to drop the investigation into WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Marianne said his arrest warrant was being revoked as it was impossible to serve him notice of his alleged crimes. Mr. Assange, who is now 45 years old, has lived in the Ecuadorian embassy in London since 2012, fearing extradition to Sweden would lead to extradition to the US. Police in London said they would still be obliged to arrest him if he left. The Metropolitan Police Service said Mr. Assange still faced the lesser charge of failing to surrender to a court, an offence punishable by up to a year in prison or a fine. But the UK has not commented on whether it has received an extradition request from the US, where Mr. Assange could face trial over the leaking of hundreds of thousands of secret US military and diplomatic documents. Mr. Assange's Swedish lawyer, Per Samuelsson, said the prosecutor's decision on Friday represented a total victory for his client. The plaintiff in the alleged case was shocked by the decision, her lawyer said, and maintained her accusations against Mr. Assange, Agence France Presse reported. At a press briefing on Friday, Sweden's Director of Public Prosecutions said that by remaining in the embassy in London Mr. Assange had evaded the exercise of the European arrest warrant that would have seen him extradited to Sweden. She said, according to Swedish legislation, a criminal investigation is to be conducted as quickly as possible. In order to proceed with the case, Julian Assange would have to be formally notified of the criminal suspicions against him. We cannot expect to receive assistance from Ecuador regarding this. Therefore the investigation is discontinued. But then she added, if he were to return to Sweden before the statute of limitation on this case expires in August 2020, the preliminary investigation could be resumed. She said it was regrettable we have not been able to carry out the investigation, and added, we are not making any pronouncement about guilt. A source at the Ecuadorian Foreign Ministry told the Press Association that Ecuador had fully cooperated with the Swedish justice system. The source criticized the Swedish prosecutor for unnecessary delays in the case but welcomed the latest decision. The source added, Ecuador will now be intensifying its diplomatic efforts with the UK so that Julian Assange can gain safe passage in order to enjoy his asylum in Ecuador. The allegation followed a WikiLeaks conference in Stockholm in 2010. Mr. Assange always denied the allegations against him, saying what happened was consensual. He also said the case was politically motivated, as it followed massive WikiLeaks stumps of secret US military reports that year. After the news was announced on Friday, WikiLeaks tweeted that the focus now moves to the UK. The Metropolitan Police Service issued a statement saying that its actions had been based on a response to a European arrest warrant for an extremely serious offence. It went on, now that the situation has changed and the Swedish authorities have discontinued their investigation into that matter, Mr. Assange remains wanted for a much less serious offence. The Metropolitan Police Service will provide a level of resourcing which is proportionate to that offence. The MPS said it would not comment further on the operational plan. Last month, Mr. Samuelsson filed a new motion calling for his client's arrest warrant to be lifted. He cited a comment by new U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions that the arrest of Mr. Assange would be a priority. Mr. Samuelsson told Agence France Presse, this implies that we can now demonstrate that the US has a will to take action. This is why we ask for the arrest warrant to be cancelled. Theresa May appears to be trying to keep her distance from Assange's fate. Asked if Britain would now support a request to extradite Assange to the United States, the Prime Minister said, we look at extradition requests on a case-by-case basis. She also said that any decision that is taken about UK action in relation to him were he to leave the Ecuadorian embassy would be an operational matter for the police. The termination of the Swedish investigation is, in one sense, good news for Assange. But it is unlikely to change his inability to leave the embassy anytime soon. If anything, given the apparent determination of the Trump administration to put him in a U.S. prison cell for the crime of publishing documents, his freedom appears farther away than it has since 2010, when the Swedish case began. Looking back at recent history, while it has been superficially covered by much of the press, and one can make the argument that what Julian Assange has revealed is more relevant to the US population than constant and so far unconfirmed speculation that Trump is a puppet of Putin, the fallout from the WikiLeaks Vault 7 released in March 2017 of thousands of documents demonstrating the extent to which the CIA uses backdoors to hack smartphones, computer operating systems, messenger applications and internet-connected televisions, has started to show in the form of hundreds of thousands of ransomware invasions.
A major so-called ransomware attack is underway worldwide, with more than 75,000 attacks reported.
A zero-day vulnerability tool, covertly exploited by U.S. intelligence agencies and exposed by the Shadow Brokers hacking group, has been blamed for the massive spread of malware that infected tens of thousands of computer systems globally. The ransomware virus, which extorts Windows users by blocking their personal files and demanding payment to restore access, allegedly exploits a vulnerability that was discovered and concealed for future use by the National Security Agency, according to a range of security experts. Our analysis indicates the attack, dubbed WannaCry, is initiated through an SMBv2 remote code execution in Microsoft Windows. This exploit, codenamed Eternal Blue, has been made available on the Internet through the Shadow Brokers dump on April 14, 2017. Russian cybersecurity firm, Kaspersky Lab, wrote in a blog post about the attack. Although Microsoft had already patched the backdoor roughly a month before it became public, many users who did not install the latest security updates seem to have become the primary victims of the attack. The worm has reportedly hit universities, a major Spanish telecom, FedEx, and the Russian Interior Ministry. The NHS services across England and Scotland were also one of the major companies to have been hit by the large-scale cyber attack, and this has disrupted hospital and GP appointments. Some hospitals and GPs have been unable to access patient data after their computers were locked by a ransomware program demanding a payment worth £230. But there is no evidence patient data has been compromised, NHS Digital said. Roughly 40 NHS organisations and some GP practices have been hit. The NHS in Wales and Northern Ireland has not been affected, though. There is no indication of who is behind the attack yet, but the hackers demanded their payment in the virtual currency Bitcoin, which is harder to trace. Prime Minister Theresa May said, "This is not targeted at the NHS. It's an international attack and a number of countries and organisations have been affected." Still, though, it shows that these hackers have little disregard for their actions and will put other lives at risk in order to blackmail people out of their money. In the video description, you can find a list of all NHS services that are known by the BBC to have been affected. Now we're going to show you a demonstration of how WannaCry ransomware works for research and security purposes.
Hello and welcome back to another video. Now, I am basically interrupting one of my exam sort of revision breaks to bring you some important news, and that is that the NHS, the National Health Service of England, and also Telefonica, which is a really large telecom provider worldwide, they've both been hit by this ransomware, Wanna Decryptor, or Wanna Cryptor ransomware, whatever you want to call it. It is basically a nasty threat which has been spreading through spam emails, and this is just an exe sample of the application here. So here it is on Virus Total. We've got the votes here. A lot of people actually this time, 19. That's very uncommon. 2 people for some reason have voted this as safe. I don't know what the hell they're doing. As you can see, malicious. There I am. And basically, well, it's already got 34 out of 60. And you can see that for some reason Avast, Avera, ClamAV, Komodo, Microsoft, all this sort of thing, Viper even, have not actually detected this, but all the main ones really have. Trend Micro has, Sophos, 360, Panda, McAfee, Kaspersky, Dr. Web, MCSoft, ESET, F-Secure, that sort of thing. So it has been detected quite widely. If we go to documents, we've got some text files, and in pictures we got an image in there. So let's begin, but before we do, of course, check the details. I almost forgot that. I'm getting seriously carried away here because this is a major threat. But as you can see, the file description, disk part, it's an application, the pretty realistic file version there. Product name, Microsoft Windows operating system, that's legit. Copyright, Microsoft Corporation, well, at least they did well there. So 3.35 megabyte file, so it's actually pretty large. And the original file name was diskpart.exe. So I've obviously renamed it since. But now we shall go ahead. There is no icon for this file. And instantly you can see what the hell is all this stuff. Just look at all this junk which has now appeared on the desktop. And crikey, I mean, it's just screwed everything up. We've now got a new background. As you can see, we've got a bunch of stuff here. It looks like it's encrypted stuff and not deleted the other stuff. Now we've got a Windows command processor, or UAC prompt. So we're going to accept that, obviously. And you can just see that, well, everything has kind of happened. You can see that there's the .wn cry extension. WN cry, wanna crypta, whatever. And you've got the please read me. You've got an application here. And here it is. Here's the pop-up. Oops, your file's been encrypted. We've got several languages. Just kidding, we've got a bunch of languages. Holy cow. And I would like to mention, this has been spreading around worldwide. This is a really, really major incident. I mean, it's affected the NHS, Telefonica, it's been to Russia, it's been all across Europe. It's literally gone worldwide, and it is a pretty severe threat. Now, I'm not going to read all of this, but you can see important files are encrypted. It's got basically all the standard stuff. And this is what half of the NHS is just seeing right now, because presumably some guy opened up a spam email. Probably a PDF was used in that case. They opened that up, and then, you know, it just went downhill from there. But, I mean, just look at this. This is $300 worth of Bitcoin to the address. Check payment, decrypt. We got all sorts of shortcuts here. We got your files will be lost on. Here we go. And payment will be raised. So I'm pretty sure the payment increases over time, as you can see. And yeah, that's literally the window. So there you go. Let's have a look at the background. Oops, your important files are encrypted. If you see this text, but don't see the wanna decryptor window, then your antivirus removed the decryptor software or you deleted it from your computer. If you need your files, you have to run the decryptor software. Please find an application file named @wannadecryptor@.exe in any folder or restore from the antivirus quarantine. Run and follow the instructions. So yeah, I mean, you can see they've really screwed stuff up here. They've got all sorts of crap on the desktop. They've encrypted everything. We've got a copy of the background here. We've got some interesting applications. We got a folder. My VM is lagging. We got Tor. Apparently that's been installed. Some data in here for Tor as well. Interesting. Interesting indeed. And what is this? MSG. Holy cow. A bunch of stuff in here. So there it is anyway, guys. And let's just take a look at the documents again. Holy crap. Yep, you can see these have all been encrypted and the original text file has been deleted now. The README file, yep, it's basically similar to everything else. And you can just see, there you go. If you want to read it, I'll let you read it for a couple of seconds. There you go. And now if we check the pictures, you can see again, basically the same thing. And yeah, that is the infection. So let's just go ahead and check if anything has been added to %update%. Let's go ahead and see if we've got anything in the temp folder here. It's possible. You can see, wow, there's stuff in here. Temp folder. Oh, yeah. There's definitely some stuff in here. So, I mean, we've got anything which has the encrypted extension there. There's quite a bit. So it has made changes in there, as sort of expected. And that is really the extent of the file. So that's the main bit of this video. I may show some graphs in a second, but for now, that is the demonstration.
On Friday, a quickly spreading, nasty piece of malware crossed mountains and oceans to infect more than 70,000 machines around the world in a matter of hours. Among those infected were more than a dozen hospitals in England, a telecom in Spain, FedEx's offices in the United Kingdom, and apparently, the Russian Interior Ministry. Within half a day, there were instances detected on 6 continents. Still, there is no sign of hackers who did the attack, but they did it for money. Ransomware is a kind of cyber attack that involves hackers taking control of a computer system and blocking access to it until a ransom is paid. The software is normally contained within an attachment to an email that masquerades as something innocent. Once opened, it encrypts the hard drive, making it impossible to access or retrieve anything stored on there, such as photographs, documents, or music. The WannaCry ransomware attack that spread around the globe yesterday caused chaos at hospitals, manufacturing shutdowns, headaches for Microsoft, and overtime for cybersecurity professionals. But the hackers responsible for this absurd attack have made relatively little in the way of profits. According to an analysis by respected security researcher Brian Krebs, the hackers have thus far only pulled in about $26,000 for perpetrating what is believed to be one of the largest ransomware attacks in history. The best protection against ransomware attacks is to have all files backed up in a completely separate system. This means that if you suffer an attack, you won't lose any information to the hackers. A young man in the UK going by the name Malware Tech stumbled on a kill switch that briefly stopped the spread of the ransomware. According to new reports, the hackers have updated the malware and it's back in action. With thousands of infections identified in over 100 countries, it will be difficult to get all of the systems patched and put an end to this for good. Some experts believe that WannaCry will likely be around for many years to come. We do not exploit massive spread of malware on the 99%. We also strongly condemn the criminal activities against innocent people. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
The power to impact the global narrative and to be part of the history. Please share this report, and to be the first to see more videos like this, click the subscribe link below. Thank you for watching. History repeats itself.